What's up, guys? It's Brian from Hasher Hub. It's about 10:10 p.m. February 20th, 2018, coming to you with a brand new trading video on Bitcoin. This is going to be the first one for today. I know it's the end of the day. We did not do one in the morning. My apologies there, but I had a doctor's appointment plus a bunch of other things to attend to this morning, so I couldn't do it. But anyway, before we get into it, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell if you guys are new to us, and if you guys are not on DTube or Steemit, totally get over there. The links are down below. Excuse me. If you had watched our video yesterday, you would have heard us talking about some bonus giveaways and the like, and we're slowly formalizing that. I wish I could formalize it a little bit quicker than I have, but hopefully towards the end of this week, or possibly next week, we can kind of kick that off. So if you guys haven't subscribed to our channel, I definitely would say it makes sense. You have to obviously do that, comment, and like the video, and then you'll be eligible for the giveaway. As far as on the Steam platform, we're thinking about doing something a little bit different there. So, well, I guess we first also have to wait till we get a lot more subscribers on Steam. The probabilities are just way too high on Steam to be winning a giveaway, and I could almost say the same thing for YouTube as well. So if you guys aren't signed up and not commenting or liking the videos, I would say it makes sense to, because the odds are really high right now. Very, very high. So let's get right into it. So this is Bitcoin. This is a dollar chart. And one thing I want to do is, what in the world? One thing I want to do is draw this channel right here. Okay. And you'll see where this all fits together in a few moments. All right, I want to draw this channel. It's not exact, but it's close enough right now. And what I want to say to this is the following. This is a parallel channel. I want to say A, B, C, right? A, B, C, D, E. Okay, E, if it goes to the end of the channel, can be a large protracted E down to this level around here. Okay, around to like 27, 2800. All right. Do I feel the probability of this happening is high? No, I don't. But it is a possibility. And one of the things I want to take a look at is this. So if you look at the RSI, right, it's on this uptrend. Okay, it's on this uptrend, and it looks like it wants to pierce through. Okay, especially on today's candle. It's looking like it wants to pierce through. And on top of that, we also have the Laguerre RSI pretty high. So what's happened the last time something like this has happened? Well, we were like here, okay, right here at this top. All right, and then something that a bit more protracted, meaning with the extent of how long the Laguerre RSI was overbought. I mean, you're going from here, all the way across, obviously, where the normal RSI peaked out here. Okay, the market, obviously, we know what happened there. It sold off from there. So I'm not trying to say or create fear or anything else like that. It's just about being prepared. That's about it. Being knowledged, understanding what the possibilities are. That's about it. I'm not trying to create any FUD or anything else along those lines. So just an understanding. So next, let's delete this real quick. Let's zoom in. We don't really need daily basis. Let's maybe look hourly. Okay, yeah. So, hourly basis, we've been struggling with this for quite some time, and here we are again. So, similar to what we had thought, or basically almost exactly based on what we had thought that the market could possibly, in other words, this fifth wave could possibly terminate right at the top here. Our problem that we had was the count. What is going on at all in here? And what this ends up looking like, I believe, so far, is that this is kind of like an ascending wedge. Okay, and we don't need this. No, we don't need this. Let's delete this for now. Okay, it looks like an ascending wedge, right? And these are Elliott wave patterns. Elliott wave says that you can have an ascending wedge on the fifth wave. Also, also on the first wave too, if I remember correctly. So that's what this possibly could be. Now that's assuming that this becomes like a significant sell-off, or possibly even a little bit more of a sell-off. I mean, the distance of this sell-off isn't anything all that great. I don't think it's more than what has happened here. So I would like to see this, continue on a bit, and then I would be a bit more comfortable with saying that this is the fifth wave right here. Another way we could possibly be looking at this is this is an A, we have a B, and this is a C, right here. And I feel that the chances of this is pretty slim, because we would have to then go ahead back here and start recounting a bunch of other things, and it would be a stretch, okay, if that was the case. So, if the market were to come down here, it does not necessarily make this an ABC. Okay, this could very well have been the fifth wave here, and then the market's just correcting. If the market corrects to some sort of pattern besides it just going kind of straight down, well, then the chances of this being really the fifth wave right here is much higher. Okay, and the way we're measuring the fifth wave now is, the fifth wave right now is starting as the smaller wave count inside of it, starting as this is about right here is 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, that's one way of going about doing it. You can also do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I like the first one better. So, okay, so we had this, ascending wedge, which is bearish. Now, if this really is the fifth wave, especially of an ascending wedge, where normally you have a sell-off that at least goes to the beginning of the wedge, so let's say at least down to 10,144, then that would make a lot of sense. It's only time will tell. One of the things I do want to say is that we drew these two lines yesterday. This horizontal line here and this horizontal line here. Okay, these lines at approximately 11,575, and the other one was about 11,300. So we drew both of these based on the 50% retracement, depending on where you measure the top of the entire past few months, right? Where you measure the top. Do you measure the top here? Do you measure the top here? Do you measure the top here? Right? So that's how we went about drawing these two lines right here. And what's interesting to see is the fact that the market really adhered to it, right? The market kind of bounced above it. It came back down. It tested it. And it came back up here, right? And it was brought back down, right? Just through a bunch of wicks. And then it slowly marched its way up here, okay? And even as it got up here, it was kind of still reaching back down. All right, so This line here, this 11,300, also happens to be the top of this right here. Okay, which is definitely significant. So, it was the top of the large 3 wave. It's right here. So, what could possibly happen with regards to this correction? All bets are off. It could be all sorts of different types of chart patterns. At the very least, I would love to see it sell off more, because it's going to be a lot more telling of what's going on here. All right, and we'll be a lot more sure of ourselves as far as the count here if this sells off a bit more. Another thing to mention is that also this upper channel, in other words, this channel within, the channel within the channel, also is kind of encroaching right around here. I mean, you can draw this channel even a little bit higher, and you could say, oh, it touched right there, right? So it definitely had something to do with why this had stopped right here, these two resistance levels. So another thing I want to go over here is something on trading, right? So we had drawn this line here quite some time ago. The market has come down below it. It tried to get above it, right here, went back down, it went above it, and it continued up, always testing this line, right? Always testing this line until finally it got up here, and it shot through, right? Zoom in a bit, right? So also here on the Laguerre, right? Laguerre goes from, hey, everything's pretty cool, to, oh my God, it's falling, right? So no matter what indicator you use, no matter how many years you've been doing this, it does not make a difference. Nothing is as foolproof as stop losses. Okay, so if you're trading this, the same way I would be trading it. That's the way I'm talking about how I would trade it, right? So how I would trade it would be something along in this light. I have this line right here. I know the market's moving up. Okay, let's assume we just did something really, really dumb. I don't know. Let's say we assumed we got in right here, right? We got in pretty much at the top. Right here, because the Laguerre crossed over, right? So now we're riding this thing up. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Laguerre has topped up here. I notice that the RSIs keep kind of bouncing along this line. And what am I doing through this time period, right? Before, when I first got into it, I said, wow, my risk to reward is probably not so great, because my risk is really kind of like putting a stop loss like over here somewhere, right? So that's pretty big. Now, my reward is possibly it's going to run to right here, right? So basically my risk to reward is pretty much, I'm just eyeballing it here, pretty much 1-to-1. And I like it to be much better than that. So I risk to lose the same amount that I'm risking to win, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But let's say I did it. So the market then continues to move up. I'm getting very happy. Now, once we start getting some of this going on right here, I start then taking my stop losses from, let's say they were down here or down here, and I start bringing them up close. Get really close. So what I do is I look at this little congestion right here, and I say, okay, when was the last kind of congestion, and where were the bottoms? So yeah, you can make the case here, but this is kind of close to what's going on here. But I would go ahead and I make the case to put my stop losses right here. Okay. So remember, we're still not at a break even, but our risk to reward now has changed drastically. Okay, we're risking much less now based on the reward that we possibly could have. It's probably, I'm going to call it like 3-to-1. right? So the market continues to meander up, and I'm watching RSI like a hawk, okay, like a huge hawk. And then I see this large, volume come in, and the market sells off, right? The market sells off, and I start really reading candles. Okay, I'm reading candles like crazy now. Market sells off, but based on the volume, the market really hasn't sold off as much as I would have imagined, right? Then I get kind of a doji candle here, which is like a point of indecision. And then I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath because the market's sitting right on top of the this RSI trend line. Is it going to pierce below? And what I would think is that no, it's not going to pierce below. Why? Because this candle before it was red. And so now this doji is telling me, well, it's at a point of indecision that possibly it then may go up again. So at the same time, I'm also doing my count. Now, let's say, for example, we knew that this was, this was 1, 2, and that we're in the third, right? If I know that I'm in the third wave, then that's the most powerful wave out of all of them, traditionally. So I'm willing to let my stops to become a little looser. So, what do I do there is that, okay, my stops were like here before, so then maybe I pull them up a little bit like around here, okay, this 10,800 level, right, because we're still here. So 10,800 level, I'm probably still, I'm just about almost break even, right? My risk to reward is getting much, much, much better. Much, much better. It's probably like 50 times now, right? My reward to the amount of risk that I'm taking. So then the market moves up, right? Like this. This is where I actually start removing some profit, right? I start removing some profit, especially when I start seeing this. The candle's kind of going sideways, right? I start removing some profit. First of all, I'm above my target, and I'm not willing to be greedy. Second of all, I have no more risk anymore. No more risk. So I would remove a portion of my profit. I then go ahead and I take my stop losses, and I would move it somewhere along here. Okay, this is about 11,050. And I would say, okay, well, let's see what the market gives me. So the market comes up, right? Now I'm starting to count things, right? So now within the third wave, I'm counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the same way as this would be the end of 3, then we would have 4, then we would have 5. So I know that the end of 3 is coming. I know that the end of 3 is probably coming up pretty soon. Right, so I probably have very little of a position at this point. Very little of a position. Very little. The market would come back down. Okay. Market would come back down. I would see this right here. Right here. And I would hope to see that the Laguerre RSI would dip below. And we don't get that. We don't get enough of a sell-off really at all. And so basically, I would pretty much probably leave it just there. I probably wouldn't jump in if I was trading this particular pattern overall because I haven't seen this yet, right? So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. And don't get me wrong, I'm trading on this 1 hour basis. I'd be going to the 30 and the 15-minute basis, at least going ahead and counting all these minutia waves. I'd have 4 or 6 windows up at the same time, all different time frames, everything being charted out of exactly what's going on. So I just wanted to show you guys, how I use stop losses, and in particular in this point right here. So let's say, for example, you let the market continue to run up, right? Run up, and then all of a sudden, you don't really know anything's going on, not very much, really at all. Yeah, you can start reading some of these candles, and these are pretty indecisive candles, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't say, oh, the market's going to turn right at this moment. Okay, and let's say you didn't know that this was the end of the 5th, right? And there's obviously a whole bunch of resistance here too that can also give you a lot of information that there's a good chance this is going to end somewhere around here. But still, you don't know based on these 2 indicators. And the reason why I mention this is because a lot of people, they just utilize, 2 indicators or 4 indicators or 6 indicators, and they're not going to show you this. They're not going to show you that this is going on. So my stop losses, no doubt, would be somewhere around here for 100% of the position, right? Somewhere around here. And the market would have come down and it would stop completely, would have stopped me out. I'm talking about this irrespective of how you actually got into this position. Let's say, for example, this did dip down here enough, right? And it came back up, right? So maybe you get into another position, right? You get into another position, the market's moving up, okay? Stop losses are going to be somewhere along here, right? Market moves up a little bit more. Now, if you know you're at the end of the 5th, if you're counting these things on a smaller time frame, let's see, on a smaller time frame, yeah, on a smaller time frame, basically you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so on a smaller time frame, you may think something's going on. Again, this is on a 5-minute basis. You may think something's going on, so you may start moving your stops up even higher and higher. So just a little looking glass into how we go about trading, to say the least. What possibly could be happening, and I'm saying trading on a very, very superficial, simplistic way. The way we go about it is much, much more complicated than that. But all I'm just trying to show is that even you can do it and be profitable on a very simplistic way. You just need to be smart about it. And when I say smart about it, you need to be smart about where you put your stops. So where could this possibly go from here right now? Like I said, right now we're about at the 10,850 level as far as where the market came down and kissed. I think this channel has a lot to do what's going on. What I do want to go ahead and watch out for is something that looks like it's going to be precipitating and coming down. But we still have a lot of resistance to go through before we get there. So yeah, what I'm going to be looking for is an ABC coming down in order to see possibly if there's going to be some sort of motive wave coming up. If this is going to be 5 waves coming down, then yeah, that changes the picture thereof. So with that said, this went on much longer than I had wanted to. Hope you guys have a great night and happy trading.